Inside of us, there are two dogs, two wolves, and they're fighting for supremacy.
The fastest way to change is to be around the people who currently are what you want to be.
What are the labels that we put on ourselves?
Rise and shine.
It's Entspresso time.
Entspresso?
Yeah.
Hey, it's Evan Carmichael, and every morning I bring you a shot of Entspresso to help you start your day with confidence and believe in yourself more. So good morning, I believe in you, and let's do this. Over to you, Jay Shetty.
I wake up every morning.
Espresso, keep me going.
I wake up every morning.
You know, we've all heard the story, and I'm just sharing it again to give context. We've all heard the story of the two wolves or the two dogs, however you want to phrase it. And if you haven't, I'll tell it now. It's the story of how inside of us there are two dogs, two wolves, and they're fighting for supremacy. So inside you, one is the initiator and one is the responding. Your whole life, you've been feeding and listening to the initiator. So your initiating wolf is strong, powerful, bulky, aggressive, because it's been fed well your whole life. And your responsive dog, your responsive wolf, has not been fed, has not been listened to. And so it's weak and feeble and meek and humble and doesn't even stand to fight. So when they two come to fight inside of you, this wolf's just gonna eat that wolf right up. And that's what's happening right now. So for all of us, whatever two wolves you're seeing, whether it's your mind and your intelligence, whether it's your intuition versus what your parents say, whether it's expectations of society versus your expectations of yourself, like whatever two wolves you have inside of you, the one that wins is the one you feed and the ones you have been feeding. Now, if you're at a point where you are and where I am and where all of us are in different scenarios of our life, where we're trying to shift and start feeding the other one, it's hard because the other one's just been fed more. It's stronger. It's able to push you. It's able to dictate you. And this is where detachment's so key. That detachment doesn't mean that you own nothing. Detachment means that nothing owns you. And most of us have become owned by our darker wolves. Most of us have become owned by the self that we don't want. So that conditioning has been drawn up. The only way to break it is to disrupt the pattern, to really break that. It has to be, and this is why I talk to people about immersive experiences. Like you meditating for 10 minutes a day on a headspace, that's wonderful and I recommend it, but that's not gonna shift this in a drastic way. Right. You are going to have to go and spend a week out in Joshua Tree with the shaman. You are going to have to take a break in Jerusalem, right? We were both in love with Jerusalem. Like instead of going on a holiday this year, you are going to have to go on a 3-day intensive transformative retreat. And the reason why I'm saying all these different things is they all have different budgets. They're all available in different countries. You don't have to go to India and live with monks, right? But you have to do something, and it has to be immersive. Because when you get immersed in something, then you're giving something the power to break your pattern. Right. And I think the challenge is we're trying to solve it by a little thing every day, which is a good start to get us going. But if you're really serious about a massive shift in your life, wherever you're seeing that energy coming from for the right side, the responsive side, you need to go water that, you need to go feed it, you need to go give it energy. And that's what I think we find that. And that's where I think people struggle. They still want to go on their beach holiday. They're like, no, I can't give that up. I need that. Or this weekend, I still need to go and do up my house. And it's like, well, no, like just imagine what would happen if this weekend you just went on a 3-day retreat that changed your life. Like imagine if you just gave that energy.
The fastest way to change is to be around the people who currently are what you want to be. And not just from financial success, but anything that you want. You want a better relationship, you want a better mindset, you want better physical condition. When you are around the people who currently are doing the thing that you want to do, they pull you forward. There's an expression in sales of whoever is more confident wins, right? Whoever is more confident wins. And if somebody is more confident in their fitness than you are in your lack of fitness, they're gonna pull you to be more fit. I remember hanging out with a friend of mine we were in California, and he was eating healthy all the time and working out all the time. When I travel, I don't always take the best care of my health, eating wise, fitness wise. I'm usually just all in on helping entrepreneurs, and honestly just give myself a break and say, hey, you know what? It's harder to get the healthy food, so I'm just going to eat whatever, right? And I can always come back to Toronto and get back on my routine. But when I was in California with him, he was still eating super clean. And so when we're at a restaurant, I remember the first night I ordered the pizza and he ordered the salmon with salad with no dressing and lemon or something or oil, and just eating super healthy. And after that, I started to eat super healthy as well because I was hanging around him, right? He pulled me into that universe. Nina's coming in. What do you give? Oh, she's brought some coffee. He pulled me into his universe. And if you're hanging around me and we're talking about creating content, you're gonna create content every day. Like if you want to create content and you're hanging around me every day, guess what's gonna happen? You're gonna create content because I'm creating content every day. You're gonna be sucked into the world because I'm more confident in my ability to create content and in your ability to create content than you are in your lack of ability to create content, right? So when you're hanging around people who are super healthy, you're gonna get healthy. When you're hanging around people who are super high achievers, you're gonna become a high achiever. When you're hanging around people who love their husbands or wives, you're gonna love your husband or wife more. You're gonna be doing more, right? And same thing for the opposite. When you're hanging around people who hate their life, who complain all the time, who are negative, who are toxic, of blaming other people, guess what you're gonna do? Right? You're going to be the negative person who complains and is toxic. And so a lot of us, like if you're watching this video, you want to grow, you want more, you want to learn, you want to improve, you want to be around leaders, you want to be the leader, right? Otherwise you wouldn't be here. You'd be watching videos about people complaining and blaming the government and all of these excuses why you can't win, right? But you may not have enough of that in your life right now. You may not have the people around you who are those people who are lifting you up. We have too many of the energy vampires who, when we hang out with, they suck our energy and make us feel worse about ourselves. It feels like, you need to now go rest or meditate or have a shower or something because you don't feel great. Whoever's more confident wins. And if you want to change that paradigm, if you want to make that shift, I see it in two ways. I see it as one, yes, it could be an immersive experience. The immersive experience, I think, is a thing that can help you realize that something else is possible, that in a short amount of time you can get from where you are to where you want to be and do things that you didn't think you were capable of. But I think there's also room for the ongoing. I think a lot of people get the immersive experiences, but then they don't do enough afterwards and then they fall back down to where they were. So let me give you a couple examples. For the immersive experience, I look at my Thought Leadership Academy, and I created my Thought Leadership Academy. I don't know if I'm going to run it again, but I ran it 3 times, I think, where I brought people from around the world. They paid to come to Toronto and train with me live for 3 days. 3 days intensive, creating content, giving you my strategies. Day 1 is strategy dump, where I'm just taking what's in my head and teaching people. But day 2 and 3 are experiential. We're making content together. We're making videos together. I'm putting you in front of the big camera with my camera crew, and they're filming you, telling your story, and I'm behind the camera too, teaching, coaching, say, no, do this again, do it like this. And we put you in a pressure cooker to be able to grow, to learn. I remember even on the first day of my event last time, a woman came up and she got there a little bit early, and I said, well, how are you doing on your Instagram stories? And she said, oh, I haven't started yet, but that's why I'm here, because I'd like to learn how to do Instagram stories better. It's like, okay, go right now. We still got 15 minutes before we start. Go film your first video. Go out in the hallway and then come back and film your first video. It's like, right now? But I don't know what I'm doing. It's like, it doesn't matter. What do you think you came here for? Just to take notes? We're doing stuff. We're getting to work. And so she was nervous and scared, and then she went out and she did it, and she came back with a giant smile on her face, 5-10 minutes later, and she posted her first IG story. And she had wanted to do it for a long time, and now she finally actually went off and did it. And that's where the benefit of a immersive experience can come from, is that when you're hanging around these people, the energy is there, the support is there, and especially this guidance and mentorship, you can do things that you never thought were possible or that were on your bucket list or dream list. A lot of times what we want to do is actually not that far off. what you want to do, what you want to be great at is actually not that far off from where you're at right now. You just haven't spent enough time with the right people to make that happen. So that's where the immersive experience can be absolutely beneficial. And I encourage you to look at who has done the thing that you want to do in any area of your life, and then trying to find a way to spend some time with them if they have a boot camp or a course or a program, so that you can get that immersive experience. But then, like, that's not enough. I think too many people are just seminar junkies and just jump from one thing to the next, just chasing the emotional high without doing the work in between, where you have to then stay consistent on it. And I remember one guy at the end of my Thought Leadership Academy was saying, he started crying at the end of it after the 3 days. He's like, I don't know, I don't want to go home. You know, I don't have this kind of support group where I'm from. Nobody I know is doing anything like this, and I just want to stay here forever. What you have to do is start to create the routines, the patterns, the habits for yourself, which is why I make videos like this, right? You may not get to hang around Jay Shetty. You may not get to hang around Evan Carmichael, but you can watch his videos, and there's a piece of there every single day, right? That's why how many channels am I making? How much content is going up every day across all those channels? A lot of content. and if you don't like me, great. Go watch somebody else. But there's videos, there's books, there's podcasts, and trying to make that a part of your daily routine, so that you don't have the start and the stop and the start and the stop and the start and the stop, where you have this 3-day amazing event and it changes your life, and then you go back home and you start to slip back into your old habits and patterns. So it's both. I think it starts with figuring out what's the ideal life you want and who is living it. And it doesn't just have to be hanging out with Warren Buffett, right? There's lots of people who are way more accessible, who have done the thing and think the way that you want to think. And it's trying to find, how can I be with them? How can I interact with them? Do they have any kind of program I can join? But then 2, trying to be around them every single day, through the content they're making, to the YouTube videos they're putting up, to the podcasts they're on, to the books they've written, to the audiobooks that they've read. How can you make that a part of your daily habits? Because I guarantee you, if you do that, if you want to think like Jay Shetty, if you love how Jay Shetty thinks, if you want to be a monk, right, or think like a monk, you know you need some of that mindset. And every day you surround yourself with a Jay Shetty video, you will start to think like Jay Shetty. It may not happen tomorrow or the next day, but it will start to happen. Most people just aren't consistent enough. And that's the problem. If you want to get that habit, if you want to change that mindset, if you want to start to think like they think and start to accomplish the goals that you have for yourself, it has to be a part of your daily routine. Now, I have a special bonus clip that I think you're going to enjoy. But before that, question of the day, I want to know, what was your single biggest takeaway from this video? And what is your plan of action that you're going to take this week to move that idea forward? When you specify what time, what place, how you're going to actually take action on your ideas, you got motivated, and you have your plan of action, you have a 91% chance of following through. That's what the data says. Whereas if you just get motivated, but never create your plan, never specify when you're going to do it, your chances of following through are only 35%. I want you to get results. Now, when you also commit to other people, that's why I want you to put it in the comments below. When you vocalize it out loud and commit to other people, it increases your chances of following through even more. I want you to take action, not just watch videos here. So down in the comments below, tell me what your biggest takeaway was and your plan of action this week to make sure that it happens.
Hey everyone, I have been reading a bit from my friend's book, Evan Carmichael, Built to Serve, and I wanted to share this with you. So, according to a study by Carnegie Mellon University, people with supportive spouses are more likely to give themselves the chance to succeed. They studied 163 married couples and found that people with supportive spouses were more likely to take on potentially rewarding challenges. Those who accepted challenges experience more personal growth, happiness, and psychological well-being. Now, I can truly say that I've experienced that in my life. When I first met my wife, I was just starting out. I had never released a video. I hadn't created any content, and she was such an important part of feeling supported on that journey. So whether you're in a relationship, whether you're dating, whether you're married, or even if you're single, being supported by friends and a strong community is important. Built to Serve by Carmichael. Great book on how you can find your purpose, and also on reminding us that we can all make a difference in the world. Thanks, Evan.
Think about when you're listening to this, what are the labels that we put on ourselves? It's like we're born with a blank slate, right? But through experience, through expectations of other people, through our environment, we learned that we are limited. Yeah. And the good news is we can unlearn it. And that's the point of the book. But because I was in the broken state, I would always ask myself, why am I broken? Why am I the stupid one? And I started getting answers of why I'm so stupid, right? Every time I did badly on a test, I would be like, oh, because I have the broken brain. Right? If I wasn't picked in sports, I'd be like, oh, because I'm the broken one. And that became my self-talk. Adults have to be very careful with their external words because they become a child's internal words. But later I started to get so frustrated, and I started getting curious. And when you're curious, you start to ask different questions. I was like, why is that person so, why are they so smart? And how come I'm studying 3 times harder and getting less grades than them, right? And I started getting answers. My dominant question ended up being like, how do I make this better?
If you want to change your life in the next 30 days for free, check out the link right here below me. Or if you want another awesome video from Jay Shetty, check it out right there next to me. I think you'll enjoy them. Continue to believe, and I'll see you there.